Satan tries to infiltrate the minds of those that don't know the true seed, to give them information. Let's go to Matthew 13 and 24. Matthew 13, 24. We're going to read this story. Matthew 13 and 24 says, "In another parable put he forth unto them, saying, The kingdom of heaven is likened unto a man which sowed good seed," S-E-E-D, singular. This man sowed good seed in his field. So he sowed one seed in his field. But while men slept, the ones that are supposed to be over the field workers that's supposed to be over the field, they was asleep. And while men slept, that's what it says. So while men slept, his enemy came and sowed tares amongst the wheat and went his way. Now remember the field here is the world. So now you have two kinds of seed in the field. You have a tare, which is the enemy, the seed of the serpent, and you have Christ, which is the righteous seed. So he went his way, but when the blades was sprung up and brought forth fruit, then appeared the tares also. Now, here's the thing. Here's the good thing about really understanding the Word of God. A lot of people don't realize this, but a skillful person cannot tell the difference from a wheat and a tare. The only difference you can tell from a wheat and a tare is when it gets mature and bring forth fruit. Y'all see that? I'm talking about the one that's bending down. There's even a greater revelation even in that. When we're talking about Jacob and Esau, both of them wasn't right. Both of them wouldn't. Remember, Esau sold his birthright to Jacob. He wasn't right for some pottage, some food. He sold his birthright for some food. Now, as we go down the line, Christ is trying to get us to see something from this. He's talking about two lineages. He's talking about a righteous lineage, and he's talking about a wicked lineage. So the wicked lineage he's referring to sold his birthright. And since he sold his birthright, he didn't consider how important it was. We're getting ready to, and this just might very well be in my generation, where we're going to have to either choose to die or to take the mark. And that mark is going to cause us not to be classified as human any longer. I'm going to put this word out here, and it's called transhumanism, where you're not a human no more, that you've been merged with AI. This is where all this is going. And this is the reason why I'm sharing this story with you, to let you know that these are two seeds. One seed is where the devil is going to use to create AI. So now you see where I'm going. Transhumanism is you taking your birthright lightly, as he did. And remember, Esau not only sold his birthright for food, but he joined himself with the giants. And it's a mirror to what is about to take place to some people that has the right with God, because he was a pure Jew, but he connected himself with a giant. He sowed his seed into the giants and created offsprings of giants. I hope you're getting what I'm saying. Jacob, he wasn't right. He was a trickster. He swindled. But until he wrestled with the angel. And when he wrestled with the angel, and he said, I'm not going to let go until you bless my soul. When he done that, when he wrestled with an angel, it changed him. His name was changed from Jacob to Israel. That's when his change took place. So now let's go back to these two seeds. And I want y'all to take a look at this thing right here, because understanding this really, you're going to really understand why Christ used this parable. You're going to understand why Christ used this parable through this story that we're going through. So when you look at this, you look at the true wheat. You're not going to be able to tell the difference until it bears fruit. And this is what God is saying. So I can't look at a white person and say, oh, they're an Edomite and they're not going to make it to heaven. This is not what God is saying. God is saying is through their fruits is how you're going to be able to tell. Now notice the terror looked almost identical to the wheat. The only difference is the terror is darker. And by it being darker, the terror also, those seeds are poisonous. Get this. Jesus he knew some stuff, boy, I tell you. And notice how it stands upright. You know why it stands upright? Because the fruit don't have no weight. And standing upright represents pride. So here you got this is like two people. Esau, prideful, standing upright, while Jacob kept his seed in his lineage. The fruit that's produced weighing them down as a sign of humbling, bowing down before God. God put his stuff in nature, I tell you. It's in nature. When we understand how God uses nature to just prove himself, he proved himself through the nature. So when we read the story, it said, but when, 26th verse, 13:26, but when the blade was sprung up and brought forth fruit, then appeared the tares also. So you didn't notice the tares until the fruit came. It wasn't the leaves, it wasn't the land, it wasn't the stem, it wasn't the stalk. All that looked alike. It was the fruit that made the difference. I hope y'all are getting this. Your life makes a difference. Look, the whole armor of God is your life. It's the way you live. It's nothing you put on, although he said put on, but it's you walking it out. It's you bearing fruits from it. That's what that armor is about. That's the whole armor of God. You bringing forth fruits of righteousness. It says, so the servant of the householder came and said unto him, Sir, didst not thou sow good seed in thy field? From whence then has it tares? He said unto them, An enemy had done this. The servant said unto him, Wilt thou then that we go and gather them up? So now they realize somebody done crept in the garden. Somebody done got in there, and somebody done got in that garden and sowed some tares amongst the wheat. And since they sowed some tares amongst the wheat, they're trying to figure out, okay, how to deal with this. If the field is the world, then what is that telling you? That's telling you that if the field is the world, God is saying, no, you leave him alone. Listen what it said. He says in the 28th verse, he said unto them, An enemy had done this. The servant said unto him, Wilt thou then that we go and gather them up? 29th verse. But he said, Nay, no. Least while ye gather up the tares, ye root up also the wheat with them. Let both grow together until the harvest. What is he saying? So now we understanding that there's two seeds in the earth. One was sowed it was one seed sowed by God, and it was seed sowed by Satan. The enemy had done this. And he says in the 30th verse, 29th verse, it says, But he said, Nay, least while ye gather up the tares, ye root up also the wheat with them. Let them both grow together until the harvest. And in the time of the harvest. When do you think is the time of the harvest? The time of the harvest is now. I mean, it's getting to that point now. It's about time for the harvest. And he says, and in the time of the harvest, I will say to the reapers. Who's the reapers? The angels. Gather ye together first the tares, and bind them in bundles to burn them. What does it mean by to burn them? They go into hell. Burn them, but gather the wheat into my barn. Where's my barn? My barn is heaven. So now we see a pattern. We see two different seeds, and the serpent seed is going back to the days of Adam. The information. And first, I want y'all to understand, we have a population of people in whom the one true seed died for. And has everyone been given an opportunity to be redeemed by his blood? Everybody. I don't care who you are. I don't care what race of person you are. You have an opportunity to be redeemed by this blood. That blood was protected by the placental barrier. And when you choose Jesus, you become the offspring of his seed. But if you don't, you will automatically be the offspring of the seed the serpent by default. Understand that. That's automatic by default. You will be the seed of the serpent by default. That's the importance of choosing this seed. Now, how do all this play in the role of AI? Because of this one seed, the seed of Christ and the seed of the serpent, Satan tries to infiltrate the minds of those that don't know the true seed, to give them information. I'm going to show you people that are well known. These are geniuses, breakthroughs. They publicly said that they're not the one or the originator of the ideal.
AI, a Trojan horse. Here is a list of geniuses. Nikola Tesla is perhaps the most famous for this. He claimed he didn't invent his machines in the traditional sense. He saw them in full 3D working detail in his mind's eye. The claim: Tesla often spoke of receiving flashes of light followed by detailed blueprints. The quote: "My brain is only a receiver. In the universe there is a core from which we obtain knowledge, strength, and inspiration. I have not penetrated into the secrets of this core, but I know that it exists." The connection: many Roswell theorists believe Tesla was tapping into the same frequency or source that the alleged spacecraft used. Srinivasa Ramanujan was a self-taught Indian mathematician who produced thousands of complex theorems that are still being used to study black holes today. The claim: he credited his entire body of work to the goddess Namajari Thyre.
To a goddess?
He claimed she would appear to him in dreams and write equations on his tongue or show him scrolls of mathematical content. The quote: "An equation for me has no meaning unless it represents a thought of God." Jack Parsons was a co-founder of the Jet Propulsion Laboratory and a pioneer of solid fuel rocketry. The claim: he was deeply involved in the occult and claimed he was performing workings or rituals to summon entities to gain knowledge about space travel and propulsion. The connection: interestingly, Parsons was active and making breakthroughs in the exact same 1940s window as the Roswell incident.
And we're going to talk
Philip
about the
K.
Roswell
Dick,
incident.
while he was an author, his inventions predicted modern AI and surveillance. The claim: in 1974, he claimed he was hit by a pink beam of light that downloaded vast amounts of information into his brain. He believed this was an extraterrestrial intelligence attempting to communicate the true nature of reality to him. Francis Crick the claim: while he didn't claim a visitation in the ghost sense, Crick was a proponent of directed panspermia. This is the theory that life on Earth was intentionally seeded here by an advanced extraterrestrial civilization. It's believed that the Roswell accident was simply a 20th century version of this. Instead of teaching how to forge swords, these entities provided the seed for silicon, fiber optics, and frequency-based tech.
So we're going to talk about all that. We're going to get you to understand, where did this come from? Now we understand now, for all these geniuses, that they were visited, they were, the knowledge and revelation were given to them, and all of them credited to a fallen source. Now, with that said, if they credit it to a fallen source, then we understand that Satan is working behind the scene. And we're going to go on talking about AI and how they got it